Hey there everyone, I'm back again, and today I'm taking a look at the Pachycephalosaurus from the Lost World Jurassic Park toy line from Kenner. Now he came on one of these blister cards, which is basically like a bubble at the front holding it onto a card back, very different from the Mattel packaging, but it's really nice. I love the picture of the T-Rex and the kind of green jungle appearance. See at the top of the packaging it's got Pachycephalosaurus written at the top with Site B, codename Ram Head. A lot of these kind of deluxe size, regular size Lost World dinosaurs would have a code name. Then it's got the Lost World logo in the corner there, and the T-Rex, the bull T-Rex from the movie, which looks fantastic there. Then moving down you've got kind of the sun shining through the jungle, and one of these Kenner toy catalogues, which I had hundreds of these when I was a kid. I don't know where they all are now, but every Batman figure I bought, every Transformers Beast Wars figure, Jurassic Park, they all had these Kenner catalogues. Then on the back we've got the logo again and the Pachycephalosaurus name, and then one of these cool diorama pictures which I love with moss and twigs and that to make it look like it's in the jungle. And then going down the packaging it just shows you different toys in the line, all the different action figures and dinosaurs in the first wave. And now is the Pachycephalosaurus himself. And I always have trouble standing this guy. He tends to be a bit back heavy, so at the minute I've got him on a bit of a slope which is helping him to stand up, but on flat surfaces he always falls backwards like that, which is a bit annoying. But it's got a lovely colour scheme. I love this kind of green. There's all different shades of green fading together. You've got a kind of light green on the bottom there, and then some slightly darker there, and then some really deep green along the back and striped along the tail. And then this bright red head there. And this is a colour scheme I wish they would bring back for the Mattel Pachycephalosaurus design for that toy. I think it would look really good in these colours. Now for articulation, the legs go back and forward like that, independently from each other. And the arms also move up and down independently from each other. Then the head will move forward, but it springs up, and that's because there's an action feature. You see the button on the thigh there. If you press that, it makes the head butt down like that. So it's got this kind of head-butting action, which isn't just for it to attack with, but it's also so it can break out of its capture gear that comes with it. And here's the Pachycephalosaurus in its capture gear, as if the hunters have captured it and contained it so they can take it back to InGen. And this is something that we're going to see incorporated into the Mattel line in the coming months, which I'm really excited for, that they're bringing back the whole capture gear thing that the dinosaurs can break out of, because it's a really cool gimmick. Because the head-butting gimmick that I showed you earlier will help it to break out of the capture gear. See, it flings off the headpiece there. And the capture gear has a really nice design to it. It's actually quite practical. Like, it's got this part here that not only contains the head, but also keeps the head upright so that the dinosaur can't use its head to ram people or vehicles. Then it's got a plate on the front to basically blind the dinosaur as well. And on the back there's kind of an aerial there, so you can imagine it as being some kind of remote control activating all this capture gear around it. You've got sort of pistons and things down there that have been sculpted in, so there's quite a nice amount of detail, and they seem to have actually put some thought into this capture gear and making it seem practical, like something that you actually would design to legitimately try and capture a dinosaur like this. There's some pretty nice sculpting detail on this. It's not really that accurate. If I compare it to the Mattel toy in a minute, you'll see that this is a reasonably inaccurate sculpt of the dinosaur itself, but it still looks nice. I like all the horns and things around the head there. There's a lot of spikes and things all sticking out. And I just like the colour scheme. I love that green and then the bright red head. There's a lot of scales along the back there. And the stripes on the tail look nice. I do think that these smaller figures have better paint jobs than the Mattel Attack Pack size dinosaurs do. And they were kind of the same sort of price range. See, it's got the JP logo there that all the Kenner Jurassic Park dinosaurs do. It's JP7, Site B. So even though in general the Mattel dinosaurs are better quality, when it comes to these smaller ones, I think by the time of the Lost World, Kenner were doing a fantastic job with them. Now here it is next to the Mattel version, and you can see for starters the mouth on the Kenner one looks a bit more like a horse's mouth, whereas the Mattel one has a beak, which is more accurate. Also just the shape of the head as well. This has got a kind of larger bump of a head, whereas this head's quite flat. There are a few less spikes on the Mattel one as well. This has got a lot of spikes under the eye there. And it's just generally, the Mattel one is a more accurate sculpt. I just don't really like the colour of this Mattel one. It's a bit dull. I would love to see this sculpt with this colour scheme. I think that would look fantastic. There's still quite a good paint job on the Mattel one though. There's a bit of fading where it's kind of a sandy colour with the dark along the back there. The Mattel one, as well as having a more accurate sculpt, is also a more accurate colour as well. This is pretty much exactly how it looked in the Lost World movie. They're about the same size, so they do scale quite well together. But the detailing on the back is different as well. There's a lot more scales along the back of the Kenner version, as you can see, rather than the Mattel one. And the feet as well. The feet are a lot kind of thinner on the Kenner one, but larger, whereas the Mattel one are thicker, but kind of shorter. There's also some really nice detailing on the legs of the Mattel one there as well, going down the front of the legs, that isn't on the Kenner one. The Kenner one's a bit more reptilian, whereas the Mattel one is a bit more bird-like, I'd say. You can see that on the Kenner version, the nails are all painted as well, whereas on the Mattel one, the nails are not. And this is the same with most of the Mattel dinosaurs. Even on the larger ones, they don't tend to paint the nails, let alone on these smaller ones. But on the Kenner ones, they do, which is a nice little added detail. I do feel like the Kenner ones have a bit more effort put into the paint jobs, being a bit more colourful and a bit more intricate than some of the Mattel ones, which have fantastic sculpts, but sometimes the paint job can end up making them look a little bit on the cheap side. And I do love the head sculpt on this Kenner version. It might not be accurate, but there's some great detailing with all those spikes sticking out of the face. And the action feature on the Mattel one is actually very similar to the action feature on another Kenner one, because Kenner released two Pachycephalosauruses, one of which was a lot larger, so this was kind of a juvenile one, I guess, and the larger one had pretty much the same gimmick as this, where the head would retract and then kind of pop out in a headbutting action, which looks a bit weird really. I don't think the dinosaur actually did this in real life with its neck and head. You can just about fit the capture gear on the Mattel one. It doesn't really fit properly. You can see the back part here isn't down flush along the back the way it should be. If you try and get the back piece to go down there, then the headpiece doesn't really fit on properly, which is a shame. I mean, you can just rest it on there, but it's not sort of connected the way it should be, which is a shame. So I would have liked to have been able to put that on there. But I guess you can just about fit it on like that, and you could probably get away with taking some photos of it and it wouldn't look too strange, because as I say, they are about the same size, so they do look quite well together. If you just want to build up the species a bit, even though this one's not as accurate, it's still just a nice sculpt in general. If you want to add it to your Jurassic Park, Jurassic World toy collection, like I say, build up the species of Pachycephalosaurus, because so far we've only had this one from Mattel, which I think they've repainted once or twice, but we haven't had any kind of real proper variations on it. So that's the Kenner Lost World Pachycephalosaurus, and a bit of a quick look at the Mattel version as well. As I say, it's not accurate, but it's still just a really nice toy. So if you can pick one up on eBay, they're probably not that expensive. I wouldn't have thought to get one loose anyway. But I've always really enjoyed this one, mainly because of the colour scheme, but I do like all the spikes around the head as well. It might not be as accurate, but it just looks cool. So thanks for watching everybody, and I'll catch you in the next video.